How's everybody doing out there? This is Super Solican, and this is the Awakening podcast. I want to go ahead and get into this message because this is a serious message. The paths to hell are many, and in this day and age, the paths to hell are quick and easy. The paths to hell are quick and easy. Again, the paths to hell, you can get to them like that. Like instead of living a long righteous life, living a long healthy good life, that's hard to do in today's day and age. Living, finding enlightenment in your life, actually, not dying with just being of not dying foolish, not dying, in writhing in pain, in debt, basically dying a cursed life. Not everybody dies that way. Some people, it's people in the Bible who we know, who God informed them that they were going to die. Moses knew the time he was going to die. God took Elijah up in a cloud, like God just took Elijah from the earth. God will tell you when Jesus Christ knew the time he was going to pass. Like, these weren't hidden from these times. Weren't you think God is going to hide these things from his chosen people? At the end of the day, we as believers make peace. Hopefully, it's a lot, that all of us are able to make peace with our deaths at the time that it occurs. But not saying you don't live your life to the fullest. But see, some people, they don't even live to be 23. Some people on the earth, they don't live long. They live cursed, and their lives are full of pain, turmoil, and curses. And the reason why is because of the choices. And the world is set up to manipulate those choices. The world is set up to do that. I'm sorry, it's just like that. Satan is the one who's given dominion here. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. Now, not saying that you also shape the world that you want to live in. Us as believers, God calls us the salt of the earth. We have to usher in the coming of Christ. Meaning, us as believers, we got to do the work. Spreading the gospel, preaching the gospel to people, giving people, and I mean, just, you don't have to, not everybody's going to be a public speaker, but I mean, doing it in your everyday life, like just being a follower of Christ in your everyday life, following God's commands, trying to treat your neighbor the way you want to be treated. Like, start there. Like, I know it's hard to do that. See, the path to hell is easy. It's easy for you to backstab a friend. It's easy for you to see her man. If for a woman to see her friend's man who got a little bit of money or fame, and then instead of rooting for and cheering her friend on and trying to make sure that her friend don't get hurt in a relationship, she goes try to steal the man. See, the road to hell, and that in turn, their relationship crash and burn after she get with him, and they in turn end up, the whole situation be bad, and the woman get cursed. Her whole life, she'll never get a good man. God is angry, and God will always pinpoint that. When she die, God gonna pinpoint that. It's men who, get in the game right now. They think it's easy. Like, it's because they think it's easy to get into the entertainment industry because they willing to. You heard of things about the Illuminati. They're willing to do what the people in power want them to do, which is push an agenda. It's easy to get into the LGBT community. If you want to get some fame and some gain, being LGBT is not going to take away from that. It's going to actually add to that. Like, it's like a fraternity with them. Somebody will come induct you in. Somebody will come get you, at a young age or whatever you want to do it, and give you, all type of opportunities and things like that. Trust me, they're one of those minority groups, like protected groups. So it's like, that's what the system is setting up. The paths to hell are many. It's many paths to hell, man. Sister, brother, you listen to me. The paths to hell, they're like traps set up in like bear traps set up hidden in the wilderness. And you trying to, the only way, it's only one path to heaven, and that's through Jesus Christ. You have to come to him to get to the Father. Jesus Christ said, no man can come to the Father but through me. That's from his own mouth. So you have this narrow path to try to follow, to stay on the up, to find enlightenment, to find eternal life, and in turn mastering yourself, in turn ridding yourself of the sin disease that you have in this body, and being making God proud. Instead of you doing that, I know, and that it's a narrow path to do that. Instead of you staying on that narrow path, you fall into these traps that's set up in the wilderness by you just going off being curious, straying away from the straight path. Now these traps are deadly. Some of them will catch you like a bear trap, and you'll just be wounded, and it'll be hard. You'll be behind in the race. You'll be wounded, and then some people, you'll be so wounded, some people just sit there and lick their wounds, and they sit there and die. Some people, they'll try to continue on. They'll get back on the straight path. They'll mend that wound, and they'll keep going. Keep going to the end. And then some people will go out. I'm using an analogy. Use your mind if if you're spiritual. Jesus Christ gave a lot of analogies and a lot of parables, but I want to give you something to take you on a visual trip. If you're spiritual. If you're not, just bear with me. Staying on that straight path, some people will keep going. Then some, deviate again. They'll see a piece of fruit or something, they deviate over there. And this trap they step in, boom, it's a landmine. It just blow them up. Now they in the afterlife. They didn't make it to the end. And when you don't, and in this analogy, in real life, when you don't make it to the end, what I mean by that, when you don't make it to the end for Jesus Christ, for God, for your purpose, you don't make it to the end enduring, or you never get God in your life, you never get a real relationship with Jesus Christ, you're not gonna make it into heaven, man. There's no way. There's no way. God is a holy being. You wouldn't even know how to live you don't know how to live on this earth in straying away and keeping yourself from sin. This is something we have to practice. This is something we all have to practice. Everyone, yes, we all sinned at one time. We all do sin. Yes, we are. And some of us, it's not, we have to make it the exception and not the rule. I get that. Some of us are on different levels. But you do have to make the effort to become like Jesus Christ. And that means refraining from certain things. If I deliberately do something, of course God is gonna count that, as a sin against me. I mean, I can't, if I'm deliberately doing something and I know I'm doing, like if we sin and we deliberately know we're doing it, like come on now, like how can we ask how can we make an excuse as an adult? I don't get that. That's one of those things that divide people as Christians also. But again, the path to hell is many. You got people today who they have many gods for you to serve, and it's easy for you to get access to them. You can get on the internet, get to typing stuff, bop, 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 click, 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 click. You get to type in a whole bunch of things. You can find so many philosophies on so many things. People today are religious in every way except in following Christ, man, and truly following him in spirit and truth, and not just a bunch of religion and phoniness and stuff like that. I mean, following him in spirit and truth, and really doing the two things that he said that is most important that you need to follow, and that's loving God with all of your heart, mind, body, and soul, and then loving your neighbor as yourself. Those two things people won't even practice. But there's so many other philosophies and religions that they're indoctrinated by, but they don't get that. People today are talking about, oh, I believe in a creator of the universe, because they see how foolish the indoctrination of the Big Bang is. That's foolish. Like, if you want to be so practical, how could you believe that? But most people understand about how about creative design, like the design of not only human beings but the universe. It's just one finite. Even scientists are baffled by it. It's not probable that, if you know how this life came to be on Earth and the universe sustaining itself in this perfect harmony and finite pinpoint calculation, that it has to be some type of design there. It warrants that. Now we can go, they believe they can go out on a limb and say, oh, okay, now it's multi that didn't happen because it's the big, they aren't spiritual. They can't be. But they'll go out, that's not in their practice. And that's just another path to hell, these different indoctrinations. And it's easy to do that, but it may cost you some money. Now, if you want to go to college and get indoctrinated, people waste their money to go to college and get indoctrinated just to, for them to get demonized and then end up in hell. That's not, like, who wants to live like that? Wake up. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, wake you up. Then it said, let me go to the Bible here. This is in the book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 23. It says, for as I walked around, let me read from the New Living Translation. It said, for as I was walking along, and I saw your many shrines, and one of your altars had this inscription on it: to an unknown God, this God whom you worship without knowing. This the one I'm telling you about. Paul is telling them, he stood in the meeting and he was like, look, these men is very religious. I walked around and examined your objects of worship and even found an altar with this inscription: to an unknown God, therefore what you worship as something unknown, I now proclaim you. And that's from the book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 23. What is saying? Like, it's telling you that these men they gained so much knowledge, but through so much knowledge gained, they became foolish. These men are fools. And it's like a lot of men today, the paths to hell is, you have a lot of men subscribing to weird voodoo religions, like all type of religions. Things that you definitely didn't have practiced 20 years ago in this country. This is supposed to be a Christian country, and I'm using air quotes. But they lay so many paths to hell and traps. It's not even funny. They indoctrinated people for a long time through war. Your kids had parents sending their kids to war. Believing in false wars, lying to you constantly. You had people telling you all type of falsehoods. I mean, let's be real. We're not gonna start with getting into all the history of America. I mean, we know that this doesn't have a squeaky clean. Just because it's called itself a Christian country, it doesn't mean it has a squeaky clean record or track record. No. But look at it today. For your daughters, it's many paths to hell for your daughters. And the paths are easy too. The ways to hell are easy. Like, they see shiny things. Like, let's not forget, man, Eve bit the apple and then went and gave it to Adam and coerced him. A lot of you men die by getting coerced by women. That's your path to hell. You chasing promiscuous women. You turn on the news or just look at social media. This happens every day. This happens all the time through all walks of life. You have men who die over thinking that women are their property. These are men, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. These men don't have understanding, or they don't have mastery of themselves. These men have become demonized by chasing and worshiping women. That's what it is. This is all it is. no more, no less. And they think, and also pride and ego comes into play. Pride and ego is what causes men to kill other men due to them sleeping with a woman, or the woman don't want to be with them. You know, the woman don't want to be with them no more. Sometimes it's not them just worshiping her. They don't even care. They don't care about the woman because they end up killing her. They'll kill the woman. Like, so it's pride and ego and just, like I said, sheer wickedness. These men become demonized. You have many, man, you could go to these cities, and if you want to go into the strip club or strip work, hey, man, it's pretty easy. You know, it's not a problem. Like, you can go and do that pretty quickly. And this is what I'm talking about. The paths to hell. You can get demonized, or people go in the strip club. You think, are you proud? Like, are men proud when they daughter go into the strip club and sell their bodies and do all type of sex work and become prostitutes, or sell their bodies online? Like, that's only in this, like, in certain societies that men are proud of that. Like, or see that as being a badge of honor. Those men have became, you know, they're women worshipers, and they've become demonized. It's many paths to hell. We need God every day. We need Jesus Christ every minute, every second. We need to meditate. You need to wonder who you meditating to. You got so many philosophies, like I said, people telling you to meditate and meditate. You gotta wonder who you meditating to. You could be doing dark meditation. See, only God informs you of the spirit realm and the things going on. The Bible informs you, that you're fighting against powers and principalities of the air. These are spirits. This is what you're fighting against. Satan's realm. Satan is the one who tempted Jesus Christ. Satan was given dominion here. Satan, Lucifer, you have to understand these things. So you up here meditating, and that's why a lot of people have all these mental illnesses and things. People start seeing all these, they become demonized, and the demons attach themselves to them. People start seeing all these things, doing horrible atrocities on the earth. Horrible things. You got people who are actual demonic servants, like, who listen to those beings and get things from those beings, get ideas from those beings. People in high places. I've already done a video on that. Those men and women aren't going to get to heaven. They aren't going to make it. I'm sorry. And this isn't just me saying this. The Lord tells you who's going to make it to heaven. It's not going to be backstabbers, robbers, people who, like I said, people today act like they can't even follow the simple commands that Jesus have given you. No one, and people act like they want to, matter of fact, they not only don't want to follow God, they become enemies of the Lord, enemies of Christianity, enemies of the Word of God. And people have to stop that. You have to stop that. I thought this was religious tolerance. I thought this was, everybody, tolerate every, you don't go step into the Muslims. You understand? Which you shouldn't be stepping to anyone. No one should be persecuted across this planet Earth. Christianity does not mandate. True Christianity is a passive religion. It does not mandate touching anyone, harming anyone, doing anything to anyone who does not want the Holy Spirit and Jesus Christ for their life in a relationship with the true living God. If they don't want that, then keep it moving. Because if you don't believe in hell, keep it moving. Why are you watching this video? If you don't believe in hell, why would you even be watching this video? Oh, for kicks and giggles. People thinking, oh yeah, right, you waste your time like that? No, it's you convicted. Your spirit gets convicted. It's some inhuman beings that convict you, even from a young child. But see, you get that overrided in this world, in this brainwash. You're brainwashed, all right? A lot of us have to, Jesus Christ pretty much gets us out of the matrix. I like to equate these things to movies. But he pretty much gets us out of the matrix. Wakes us up, and you have to then fight and make it to the end. I know people see this system, and this devilish system is just something they have to be a part of because it's easy. It's easy to do that. It's calling you. The streets, you hear women saying it. I'm on demon time. The streets are calling me. You heard people pretty much. You would never have heard this from anybody, especially you definitely wouldn't have heard it from anyone in the black community. They say that black people are the most religious. Again, like I said, this was supposed to be a Christian country, so you had most people who were religious. You will never hear anyone saying that I'm on demon time. They wouldn't let that utter out of their mouth. They were believers. More people were believers, and that in the country was in a lot better state. You didn't hear people talking about women talking about I'm outside. I'm outside. I'm on the demon time. Worrying about talking about they don't have their kids. You didn't hear this stuff like this. No one would even mention this. This is devilish behavior. This is demonic. You didn't have men abandoning their children. You always had deadbeat fathers, but it was shunned to do that. Like, we understood the value of families. Now it's an incentive for women to basically run the man off. It's easy to do that. And you see more divorces happening like just dominoes. Many paths to hell. I implore you, please choose righteousness, man. Find Jesus Christ. Like, all of this debating and for people to be like, like I just told you. So it's fine with seeking knowledge. It's nothing wrong with that. But you have to have a focus. Like, you have to have a grounding. A grounding within oneself, because you could have your head in the clouds and just never know nothing. Too much knowledge, you become foolish. Some people are always looking for the next best thing. See, the thing about Christianity is we have a mandate here. We have to do things within the belief system. That's why people don't like Christians, and people don't like devil and wicked people want to fight against that, because in this religion, it's unique in the fashion of having a belief system, a belief system that God has been active on the earth and has an interest in his creation, that God is coming back, that he's been on the earth, he made a sacrifice, and now he's coming back. It's unique in the fashion that we have to renew ourselves in Christ daily in our actions. We have to have certain actions, certain character as Christians. We can't just do anything. We can't. God mandates turning. You listen to Jesus Christ, you look at what he mandates, turning the other cheek. It's hard to do that. Somebody slap you or touch, man, somebody just bump you. A lot of people got social tension. They just somebody step on your shoe, you tripping. Jesus is talking about somebody slap you and you turn the other cheek. So Christians have certain tenets and things that they live by, but this is the path. This is the way. This is the way. And when you get a relationship with the Creator, you can go levels to level to level up to level up. It's levels to it. The Bible even tells you that it's levels to people's walk with God. It's gonna be different levels in heaven. People got different levels that they go, but you need to stay on the righteous path, please. Like, all this debating, it's not gonna get you anywhere. Debating people all day, that's not gonna get nobody nowhere. You gotta find out. You just gotta listen. And a lot of people, like I said, you can't hear God. You're not even in the right state of mind and movement when you're on drugs all day, or you're an alcoholic. Man, it's so easy to go get a drink. Man, if your daughter want to get into the club, your son want to get into the club, man, it's easy. You can do that at 16. They'll let a 16, if their son just got to pay somebody, your daughter just got to, show them something, or flirt with them, and they'll let them in, drinking and everything, give them a wristband. It's easy to do that. And parents are okay with that. See, that is normal. Many paths to hell, and wonder why kids dying at such a young age. Liver cirrhosis, things like that. People, you tortured at that point. People got all type of medical illnesses, colostomy bags, liver cirrhosis. Come on, man. They don't call the alcohol the demon in a bottle for nothing. Like, and it's fine if you can be an alcoholic though. Like, people are drinking like at such a young age, you got to police your children. Like I said, man, it's pretty frustrating just to see the state of how quickly, things have deteriorated in the spiritual sense, and how confused people are. Like, I really do see how, like God says, man, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, man. They really are, and it's sad because you see, people don't have solutions for anything. They got another, that it's gonna be another pestilence on the earth. They finna, you finna see some more foolishness go on on the earth. You thought it was over? It's just a bunch of foolishness, man. And it's like, people could change these things. You rather be led by government. You rather be led by lies. You rather be led by, and not saying there's nothing wrong with, certain levels of government and things when it's working. People there's certain structure that's needed, when it's working. But, people are rather just, they'll believe certain groups. They rather just listen to celebrities and think that that's, somebody that they see and worship as celebrity. They'll rather listen to them, and the next best thing, or anything that they hear from some source that's compromised, in the mainstream, that's popular. They think they'll take it as gospel. And it's like, man, that ain't done nothing for you. You just gonna end up brainwash your whole family. Just gonna end up destroyed by doing that. I'm serious. I'm telling you, like, I'm trying to warn you. It's the same thing. Like, do you think that everybody's gonna do you think rapists and murderers and everybody and deserve the same fate as your grandmother? Like, come on. Like, or a person who tried to live righteous, like, that's just not even you. And you will have people be like, well, the universe will do this, the universe will be that. How do you know that? Where is that coming from? Oh, it's coming from yourself. You'll rather believe a doctrine of yourself, instead of something that a collective of people, millions upon, if not billions, have found to be, to save them alive, have found significant things out of, and had spiritual experiences from, and have given wisdom to the world from those experiences. You don't want to give that any credence. You have a bias against that, but instead it's just some universe concept you make up. People getting spiritually attacked, people having sleep paralysis, and if you don't take care of that, that's gonna end up getting worse and worse. And you're gonna really take medication for it instead of turning to the Lord when He already tell you what this is. That there's demonic forces out there, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to listen to that. So what I'm saying, these paths to hell are many, and they easy. They getting easier and easier. You can get in these groups that, like I say, man, people is into some weird stuff these days. So look, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. Sometimes the messages isn't gonna be so, sweet and bubbly. That's just not how it is. You understand who God is. If you understood His character, Jesus Christ is no punk. God, Jesus Christ is God in the flesh. On the earth, yeah, He's turning the other cheek. Yeah, that's what we should do. But Jesus Christ is coming back for war. This being is not coming back with a smile on His face. You understand? Only for the believers, so it's time to stop playing. So with that being said, this is your man, Super Solican. Peace and blessings to the hearers and the doers of the Lord's word. Many blessings, man. Many blessings to y'all. I hope that y'all, I pray and hope that y'all stay on the path, that y'all make it to the end, that I see y'all at the end. So with that being said, this is Super Solican. This is the Awakening Podcast. I'm going.